Hi viewers, I'm Rashmi Malapur Jaswal and I run a series of videos on YouTube and the name of my channel is on mental health. Often I wonder the food that I eat, it changes my mood. Suppose if I'm depressed, I have some chocolates. If I want to stay awake, I have black coffee. So what is all of this? Is our food related to our mental health, our overall health? So today, I thought of inviting my dear friend Naina Singhania. She's a health coach, but I often ask her that what is a health coach actually doing to help people to live a healthy and happy life. Naina, what is your schedule like daily, and how do you guide people to live a happy and healthy life?
So, firstly, thank you, Rashmi, for inviting me.
Thank you.
Um, well, as you said, the health coach is slightly different, something that is a little uncommon in India, especially. The reason being that, we try and work on that specific area which we feel that we are, lacking in. So that is what exactly a health coach does. Apart from taking care of your food, just like a dietitian would, she also collaborate, she also puts in things like the lifestyle, which plays a very important role in your day-to-day life and health. And what is the kind of personality that a person is, what is what is what a person is comfortable with, what he's not, how much he's open, so those things also make a lot of difference. So we kind of collate all that data when we assess, and accordingly we chart out a plan which has a little bit of lifestyle tweaks if required, and diet, and how they can actually go, because we try and handhold them throughout the process so they are able to achieve what they are looking for, as far as little bit of mental, whatever little that we can do, and of course the health that is what we are stressing in.
Okay. I was just wondering, I mean, do you also look into the exercise part, and how do you, I mean, even after the diet thing, do you continue to keep in touch with your clients, patients?
So yes, the obviously exercise bit is also extremely important, but the whole idea is that we kind of help the people identify what is good for them, rather than we telling them that this is what you should be doing.
Okay.
So if I have to compare it with probably a psychologist who is kind of hearing you out, kind of letting you decide what is good for you, a health coach would also help you decide what is good for you to eat, what suits your body, what doesn't suit your body, what kind of physical activity would be suitable to you, which you can do forever. And as far as following up is concerned, a lot of times people are on a program. The program is once it's over, they are on their own, but then they definitely come back sometimes, just want to check few things out. So we do keep, it's not that we completely lose touch. We keep dropping in and checking as to how they're progressing with their health journeys. So it doesn't completely stop at what the idea is, to keep it sustainable, so people have to keep improving and making changes in their in their lives as and when required.
Yeah, I guess people who are self-motivated, they would still continue doing the entire program. Yeah, it makes a big difference. Your attitude, your approach also makes a big difference, doesn't it, Nana? Yeah.
Absolutely. Just like training your own mind, the way you're training your mind, you have to train your body also to
It's
do
like how
something to.
bad you want to live healthy.
Absolutely.
Okay. I always wonder, I mean, what things happen to me, like I mentioned earlier, my mood swings, and if I want to stay awake for something, for some work, then I modify not a diet as such, but I eat certain things to make me feel happier. So do you feel that way? I mean, is there a connection between the food that we eat and our overall health and our mental health? Do emotions get altered because the food that we eat? I mean, does it happen to you also?
Well, it does. I think it happens to every human.
Okay.
And even before we actually talk about whether it's important or not, I think we all will relate to these examples, where we say that, I'm feeling low. That is why I want to probably sit today in the couch and just
Yeah.
eat that tub of ice cream or that whatever, order something in. Or probably when you're completely ecstatic or completely, very happy and in that celebrating mood, you feel like eating something or just splurging in something unhealthy.
Pizza.
Or when you're, yeah, definitely. I think for me it'll be sweets.
Yeah.
But yeah, and when you're completely stressed out, you'll end up probably binge eating. Or when you're not, very up, like you probably feverish, you're not feeling very well, you absolutely don't feel like eating anything.
Yeah.
So I think that itself explains how the mind, how you are feeling, actually decides the kind of food that you eat. And in fact, vice versa, when I say that, how you feel, you're going to eat, and what you eat is kind of going to decide, the kind of mental state that you're going to be in. So it's like that circle, that
Yeah.
if you don't take care of one, the second thing is going to suffer, and it's just going to be that spiraling. You just spiral down after that. So it's very important that, both of these are taken care of. In fact, when we talk about the relation, um, there are a lot of conditions, like for example, like a ketogen, like a person suffering from epilepsy, something that is given to them is a ketogenic diet, which says by itself that how much of importance of food can have on your brains. So
Yeah.
automatically, when you're talking about this, it automatically says that the moment you take care of your food, you definitely going to have some or the other impact on your mental health. So I think that goes without saying when we say whether it's important or not important.
Yeah, I mean, so it's so nice, I mean, I can alter my food, I can change a bit of my lifestyle, and these small changes, do they make an impact on our overall health? And by altering the food and the lifestyle, does it create a major impact?
Yes, definitely. In fact, again, if I say from a very lame perspective, like I don't want to go in the technical aspect of what happens in the body, but then, even for us as lame people, we've heard that, sugar khaoge, so there is a flux, there's a lot of high, you're high on energy, and then it kind of plumates.
Mhm.
And, when you've had caffeine, it gives you a good, good energy boost, and that is why people use it before their workouts. So obviously these foods, there are certain foods which definitely kind of alter your mental state exceptionally to a very high extent, and then kind of changes, so that highs and lows of certain foods can have a great impact. That is a very first thing example, when we're talking about how so small foods, like you would recognize sugar, junk items. So whenever you've had something very oily or very very heavy, you yourself feel oil, heavy, and you want to just
To feel
sleep.
drowsy also sometimes when we have fried food, that I have observed. I mean, I feel a bit drowsy and too heavy and don't feel like doing anything much when I have some bhajia or something like that. I mean, when I
Absolutely. Because what happens is that, when your body is, it has eaten something heavy, your stomach is actually trying to digest. And that is why all the energy kind of goes there to digest. And, that is why probably there is a lot of low on energy. And at the same time, the kind of gut that you will help defines the kind of bacteria, your gut health. The kind of food you eat will decide your gut health, which indirectly will decide your neurotransmitters, which is your good hormones and your bad hormones, and all those things. And that is how the link goes. And ultimately how you feel with your, in your head, is what kind of uh, you see directly. So you're not really able to link it, but it definitely has that effect, that loop, that you will see and connect.
I'm sure there must be a lot of research also on this aspect of mental health. I'm sure people must have researched also.
Yes, definitely. In fact, a lot of research in terms of depression, anxiety. In fact, um, I think something very commonly seen is hyperactivity. A lot of times we say that we feel hyperactive, probably after sugar, or probably kids for that matter, where ADHD comes
Yeah.
into picture. The whole idea, and that is why in these places, because there's so much of energy, and that is the reason why sugar, which is your direct glucose, which gives you energy directly, is the reason why we say that sugar is something that you want to reduce, because you're already active, you're already a little hyper active in state, and when you're having sugar, you kind of increase the glucose influx, which leads to even more energy and activity. So obviously that is the direct relation of the kind of food you eating, especially sugar, for example. That is one of the researches. Obviously depression and anxiety are the few things where micronutrients play a very important role. Things like zinc, for that matter, B12, vitamin D, um, iron, for that matter, where you see that people suffering from lower hemoglobin will have anemia, which directly impacts their mental state again, because it kind of makes them conscious or unconscious or absent minded because of the state of mind they are in, because of low hemoglobin. So obviously these small elements definitely play a role. They act like one small minute, but they are like those bolts in the machine, where without them the machine is not going to work.
Yeah, and sometimes it's also your own self-awareness about how your mood has altered, how your body has changed. We are so busy in our daily life that we don't even realize that we are under stress, and we don't even realize how our body is changing, how our mind is shifted to think something negative. So this is all a matter of self awareness also. Yeah, yeah,
And that is what we also try to do. A lot of times people wonder, what happened? Why did I feel like this? They don't really sit and analyze it. And that is what we try and help them do, that, probably before this, what is it that you did? It kind of makes the person think that what exactly happened, because of which I behaved in a certain way. So it kind of gives that little perspective to a person. Definitely helps.
yeah, yeah. And I've realized that since I've started meditating, I've become slightly more connected to my body and mind. So that has helped me quite a lot. That's why I covered entire session on meditation. I covered an entire session on yoga also. Yeah, yoga reminds me. I wanted to also, talk about the sattvic and the tamasic food that Ayurveda mentions. I don't know. I mean, this must be also related to mind and the food that we eat, probably.
Absolutely. I was just coming to that. So basically, what happens is, now, as you said, yoga, meditation, now you're in state of mind.
Yes.
So, in order to attain that state of mind is the reason why you have to prepare your body first, so that it's not in any uncomfortable state when you're trying to, kind of conquer a balanced state of mind. So in yoga, in fact, they have very beautifully described this whole aspect of what kind of food you should be eating for a balanced state of mind.
Okay.
And it has been differentiated in three categories. One is sattvic, one is rajasic, and one is tamasic. So again, sattvic being completely balanced state of mind. So what are those foods which are kind of going to help you in uh, putting you in that state of mind, which is things like fruits. It's basically a plant based foods. um, More of fruits and vegetables, less of oil, less of salt, less of spices is what comprises of sattvic food. When I talk about rajasic, I can relate it probably to a little hyperactive mind, because rajasic, as you say, raja, somebody who has to be very active. So in those cases, because that hyperactivity state, you can relate to rajasic state. And that is like, that includes a little more of spicy foods, which kind of activates your system to a little more extent. So that is the second aspect, which is again not preferred, because you do not want a completely hyperactive state of body as well. And the third one is the tamasic state, which is more of heavy foods. So things that you, as you also just mentioned, that whenever you eat something fried or heavy, you feel drowsy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when you tamasic, it's like khana which will kind of put you down, make you feel more lazy and lethargic.
Easy, yeah.
So that is the three categories specifically. And if you see in all these diseases that you mentioned about, the mental state of depression or anxiety, you can actually relate the state of mind with these three kinds of food. Like tamasic would be more of depression, somebody who's already low on energy, who doesn't talk, who doesn't act on things, and somebody who's who's at an anxiety who feels has a high anxiety level will probably connect with Rajasic. So you can actually understand the food, kind of food, and accordingly alter depending upon your state of mind.
Great, great. I mean, you must have also spoken to a lot of your clients while you're not treating, but you're guiding them through a proper balanced diet. Have you seen examples where people have altered their food and have started living a very happy life because of your guidance?
So we have seen, in fact, obviously, because it is more with respect to food and the lifestyle that we do. But definitely, we always have seen amazing results, not only tangible results as far as weight loss is concerned, or probably muscle gain, or probably diabetic control, anything. But at the same time, the before and after of a person, after he's actually gone through that healthy eating and being on a routine as far as sleep and everything is concerned, we've seen tremendous positive change. So if I have to give an example of this patient of mine who she's 27, 28 years old, and when she came in, she was actually wanting to lose weight because she was overweight, or between overweight and obese, and she was completely negative. Like whenever she used to speak, she actually used to joke about herself being fat, or about that whole thing that she's not good enough because she doesn't look great, and something like that. She's experienced that because her family also around somewhere down the line unconsciously has been saying that to her. So it was constantly seeking, what should I do to get that attention from my family as well. So she was always negative. She was always negative about herself, making fun about herself, self-loathing. So that was something that we'd seen on the very first day when we assessed her. And then obviously we were in touch, we were talking along with the diets. So there are a lot of times when she used to be like, what, I'm not good enough, I don't think I'm going to sustain it. And she was a caffeine drinker. Like she used to drink 5-6 mugs of black coffee a day, that bad.
How does that
And that is,
affect? How does that affect? How does too much of caffeine
yeah.
affect us?
So because of the caffeine, also what was happening was she was in great state of mind at one point, and then all of a sudden, few hours, because of the stimulation, probably she was, all of a sudden completely letting go of stuff. The conversations were also like, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I'm ever gonna achieve it.
Yeah, I
All of
understand.
a sudden you were in great state of mind, and then all of a sudden you're just letting go of everything, and then just opening the cheese box and eating the entire box of cheese. So
Okay.
you that is what was the kind state mood swings that she used to have in a day's time. But then over the period of time, with food, we incorporated a few amino acid rich foods which are actually good with respect to regulating mood swings, the kind of fat that needs to be included, few micronutrients that I spoke about. We actually incorporated a little bit of more of that because that was not there in her diet in general in good amount. So we did that, and I think around 40 days she was there with me for around 30-35 days, because she wanted to work on her diet. But we were in touch after that also for a few weeks, and I think that change week on week we have seen with respect to she not letting it go. Like, okay, fine, I'm not gonna have caffeine. Obviously it was a big challenge for her, but over the period of time she overcome that, and we saw that all of a sudden giving up attitude of binge eating in the middle of the night was something that I think in the span of 2.5-3 weeks, she started self-controlling, and she felt good about it, and that itself motivated her to
Yeah.
then kind of stay there until date. I think this was 3 months ago, and till date she messages, what, I've had only one black coffee in a day. So it kind of helps, and she's still motivated, and she keeps messaging that, oh, I'm feeling great, this happened, but I kind of overcome it. So definitely food in terms helps, and once you start seeing how great you feel about yourself, you're even more motivated to kind of take that plunge and make sure that that little extra effort is required, but if you do it, you will see that difference.
Yeah. At the end of all of it, it is all worth the efforts that you put in. So, yeah, yeah. Nana,
True.
thank you so much for being on my show. And it was so wonderful to know that, you're guiding people to live such a healthy life and happy life. I mean, it's a very self motivating thing that you're doing, and I'm sure our audience also must have benefited to understand the link between our thought and our food. That's a link that we have, along with our mind and our body. We have a link between the food and the thought process also. Thank you, Naina. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Rashmi, for inviting and helping me share this little, whatever little 2 cents that I had about this with the people who watch this.
Thank you so much. Thank you.